Rena had learned long ago that silence was survival. In the 3 cycles since humanity's first contact with the Galactic Assembly, that lesson had been carved into her bones with crystalline clarity. Humans were the newcomers, the primitives, who'd stumbled into a cosmos already ancient when Earth's sun was young. The observation deck of Station Kepler 442 stretched before her, a transparent dome offering an unobstructed view of the nebula beyond. Rena pressed her palm against the cool surface, watching streams of purple and gold gases twist through the void. Behind her, the station hummed with the languages of a dozen species, clicks, whistles, harmonic resonances that made her teeth ache. Then she heard it, a roar, deep, guttural, aggressive. Rena spun, her hand instinctively reaching for the plasma cutter at her belt. Her heart hammered against her ribs. The observation deck had been empty moments ago. The sound came again, closer this time, reverberating through the deck plating. She dropped into a defensive crouch, scanning the shadows between the support columns. The roar echoed once more, and this time Rena caught the slight warble at the end, the way it cracked and broke. Not a threat. Something else. Rena straightened slowly, moving toward the source. She found him behind one of the atmospheric processors, a young Carvari, no more than 3 solar cycles old by her estimation. The species was infamous throughout the assembly, apex predators from a high-gravity death world, standing 9 feet tall at maturity, with obsidian claws and bioluminescent patterns that pulsed along their scaled hides. This one barely reached her shoulder. Tor? Rena recognized him from the station manifest. He was the son of Ambassador Krell, one of the Assembly's most decorated military commanders. The young Carvari's luminescent patterns flashed orange, embarrassment she'd learned. His jaw hung open, revealing rows of developing fangs. Human Rena. Tor's voice synthesizer struggled with the syllables. You were not supposed to hear. What are you doing? The cub's claws scraped against the deck plating. Practicing my war roar. Father says I sound like a damaged venting system. The orange patterns deepened. He says no Carvari warrior ever won respect by squeaking. Rena felt something twist in her chest. She'd watched the adult Carvari move through the station like living weapons, their mere presence parting crowds. She'd seen seasoned traders, species who'd navigated the stars for millennia, lower their gaze when Ambassador Krell passed, and here was his son, hiding behind machinery, trying to sound fierce. Your father said that? Rena asked quietly. He says I bring shame to our bloodline, that I'm soft. Tor's patterns shifted to gray. The other cubs call me human friend. It is meant as insult. Why is that an insult? Tor's triple-jointed head tilted. Because humans are weak. Everyone knows this. You have no natural armor, no claws, no venom. You cannot survive in high radiation or extreme pressure. You die easily. He paused. No offense intended. None taken, Rena said, though the words settled like stones in her gut. She'd heard variations of this assessment countless times. Humanity's biological fragility was a fact as undeniable as the laws of physics. Try your roar again, she said. What? Go on, show me. Tor's patterns flickered with uncertainty, but he drew himself up, expanded his chest cavity, and released another roar. It started strong but cracked halfway through, ending in something closer to a cough. That was good, Rena said. You lie to spare my feelings. This is human custom, yes? No. Rena moved closer, keeping her movements slow and non-threatening. I mean it. That roar had real power in it. You just need to control your breathing better. You know of roaring? But humans cannot roar. We can't. But we understand sound, resonance, projection. Rena smiled. We've been making ourselves heard for a long time, Tor. Sometimes in ways that don't require teeth or claws. She spent the next hour with the young Carvari, teaching him techniques she'd learned in her brief stint in Earth's colonial marines. How to breathe from the diaphragm, how to project sound, how to make a small body produce a big noise. Tor proved a quick study, his roar growing deeper and more controlled with each attempt. Better, Rena said after his 5th try. Much better. Tor's patterns brightened to a pleased blue. Perhaps I am not entirely hopeless. You were never hopeless. You just needed practice. Rena checked her chronometer. I should get back to my duties. Wait. Tor's claws clicked nervously. Why did you help me? Your species gains nothing from strengthening a potential rival. Rena considered the question. Beyond the observation deck, the nebula continued its ancient dance, indifferent to the struggles of those who witnessed it. Because I remember being young and scared, she finally said. Because I remember thinking I'd never measure up, never be strong enough or fast enough or fierce enough, and because someone helped me anyway. But you are human. How did you overcome your weakness? That's the thing, Tor. We didn't overcome it. We're still weak. Softer than almost everyone else out here. Rena looked out at the stars. But we learned that strength isn't just about claws and armor. It's about adapting, persisting, helping each other survive. We make ourselves heard not by roaring, but by refusing to stay silent. Tor's patterns rippled with thought. This is why the other species fear you. Fear us? We're the weakest. No. Tor's synthesizer carried an odd certainty. I have heard my father speak with other ambassadors. They do not fear human strength. They fear human stubbornness. They fear that you refuse to accept your place. They fear that weakness in human hands becomes a weapon they do not understand. A chime echoed through the station. Shift change. Voices grew louder in the corridors beyond. I should go, Tor said. Father will be looking for me. He paused at the edge of the shadows. Thank you, human Rena, for not laughing at my roar. Anytime, Tor, and for what it's worth? Rena smiled. I think you're going to be fierce enough for any two warriors. The young Carvari's patterns flashed bright gold, joy, before he vanished into the station's depths. Rena remained on the observation deck, watching the nebula burn. She thought about cubs practicing to sound fierce, about humans learning to be heard without roaring, about the strange alliances that formed in the spaces between stars. Somewhere in the station, a young Carvari was probably practicing his war roar, each attempt stronger than the last. And somewhere in the vast assembly, humanity continued its own practice, learning to survive in a cosmos that had no place prepared for them. Perhaps that was its own kind of fierce.